यूजर नेम पासवर्ड तो भूल जाते हैं।
नहीं, फॉरगेट करने का रहेगा ना।
अच्छा,
देखते हैं।
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So this here configuration was pending, I think, right?
अच्छा स्क्रीन नहीं आ रही अभी आपकी।
बात कर रहे हैं।
No, sir, your screen was shared right till now. Yes,
Now?
right now. Yes, it's visible.
Now it is visible.
Was my topology, right?
Correct.
Oh, I think access layer switches are already configured, and I need to
सब कुछ
configure
configured है।
distribution layer switches.
No, that is also configured, sir.
Let me
अगर
check.
आपने सेव नहीं किया होगा तो configured है सर। वही
नहीं।
टोपोलॉजी मैंने बनाई सर आपकी वाली ही।
So VLAN brief. VLAN तो so interface trunk.
शो आईपी
So
इंटरफेस ब्रीफ
IP interface brief.
नहीं एसवीआई भी नहीं है सर। आपने सेव नहीं की सर उस दिन फिर।
नहीं, but interface range is 0/0 to 3. E0/0 to 3 है ना? Yes.
हाँ सर।
Switch port mode dynamic
डिजायरेबल
desirable and switch port trunk encapsulation
.1q।
.1q. Any other command?
नो
So interface
सर अलाउड
trunk.
विलेन भी चला सकते हैं हम लोग।
हाँ चला सकते हैं, अभी के लिए मैं डिफॉल्ट पे ही छोड़ रहा हूँ।
ओके
Now come to distribute config T. Interface range is 0/0 same interfaces है.
हाँ सेम है सर।
Switch port mode dynamic desirable and switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. Now let me create SVI. To create SVI, let me use Notepad. Notepad से थोड़ा सा आसान हो जाता है ना.
हाँ सर।
So here interface VLAN 10 NoSert and IP address. IP address 192.168.1.254. See on the SVI interface, here is my SVI on switch number 1 and on switch number 2. Exit interface VLAN 20 NoSert and IP address. ये NoSert command यहीं पे जरूरत है बस. We don't need to run NoSert command on real devices, right? Because it is virtual port. It will be always up.
ओके
192.168.254. Exit interface VLAN 30. Again NoSert IP address 192.168.3.254. Exit interface VLAN 40 NoSert and IP address 192.168.4.3. These are SVS on switch number 1. Let me create it. Config T and host name dswitch1, and let me paste the config.
सर वो मास्क नहीं लगाया सर हमने इनके आगे।
Last 24.
5525525
जीरो
Control A, Control C. Now all the commands are accepted, and show IP interface brief. SVIs are
अप
up. On distribution switch 2, instead of 254, it is going to be 253.
3 सर एसवीआई अपनी आती है अगर हमारा इनके बीच में स्विचेस एक्सेस स्विच उसके बीच में ट्रंक नहीं होता तो करेक्ट।
हाँ बिल्कुल, तब कैसे आप पाएंगे? तब फिर हर विलन के लिए एक लिंक चाहिए.
करेक्ट
Your SPI can be done due to several reasons. First reason, the VLAN does not exist in the VLAN database.
database.
Second, there is no any interface in that VLAN. Means you have not configured the trunk. So there are two requirements of SVI. VLAN must be there in the VLAN database, and one interface, at least one interface must be there in that VLAN. So if we have the trunk link, so you know trunk link is a part of all the VLAN. So IP interface. So IP interface brief. So here all my SVIs are up. So SVIs are up. If I am going to ping SVI of distribution switch 2 from distribution switch 1, will it work? Ping 192.168.1.253, let's say. Ping is working. Sorry, 253. Ping is working, you can see, right?
So it is working via access switch, right?
Yes, now it is working via access switch. VLAN 20 SVI, VLAN 30 SVI. Great. And 40 also. And DHCP server is there, so end devices can get IP also from the DHCP server. If I am going to say PC1 IP DHCP, yes, that also. What happened? Why this client machine is not getting IP from the DHCP server? Where is the packet drop? Which device is dropping the traffic? Gateway? Because helper address is not configured. Am I right, guys? Yes. So helper, we need to configure helper address on interface range VLAN 10, 20 and 30. Also 40. Config T. Interface range 10, 10, 20.
Sir, 10-20.
सर डैश करके चलाते हैं ना लोग, सर हाइफन लगा के चल जाता है।
तो 10 to 40 सारे विलन हो जाएगा ना फिर तो।
हाँ करेक्ट।
विलन 30 and VLAN 40. I'm going to say IP helper address. What is the IP address of DHCP server?
4.1.
4.1. And we need to do same thing on distribution switch 1, 2 also, because sometime maybe later if we are going to configure the switch 2 as a gateway, right? Then this switch have to convert broadcast message into unicast. So I am saying do so. History. Let me copy the command. Let me paste it on distribution switch 2. Config T. Done. Now if I will try to get IP from the client machine, IP DHCP, so this machine should get IP now.
Sir, server पे have we given default
Just give me
gateway?
2 minutes. Let me configure the DHCP server also. Config T interface F0/0 no shutdown IP address 192.168.4.1 4.1 255.255.255.0 exit, no IP, routing IP, default gateway IP address 192.168.100
4.254 या virtual IP.
100, okay, virtual IP. I have configured virtual IP here.
Sir,
Host
why we have given command no IP routing?
to disable the routing here. Routing is not required, na?
Okay.
Server. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
IP,
DHCP pools.
DHCP, pool,
VLAN 10.
VLAN 10, work
192.168.
192.168.1.0, mask
255, 255, 255, 255.0.
522, and default router 192.168.1.1.
100.
Do so. We need to do same thing for VLAN 20,
20,
30, and
40.
40. 20, their network is 2.0 and gateway is 2.100.
20,
30,
3.0,
3.0
3.100,
dot that is the VLAN 40,
4.0,
4.0, 4
4.100.
dot, copy it, right? So run section
DHCP.
HCP. So here is my DHCP. Okay. Access layer switch configuration is there. Keep the configuration of switch. Verify you. So VLAN brief,
Brief.
you can see 0/3 is in VLAN 40. Let me close the access layer switch and the client machine and say not getting IP from the DHCP server.
Sir, 100 IPs we have not configured.
Yes. Now the
Virtual
virtual
IPs.
IP address is not available, right? So now by using any protocol, you have to configure virtual IP address what 1.100. So let me take you to switch 1, and again I will use this range command because I am going to run the command on all the interfaces. Means for all the VLAN, command is going to be a standby group number 10 and then IP address.
IP
IP 192.168. Sorry, we cannot
नहीं
use
होगा,
range
नहीं हो
command.
पाएगा, नहीं हो पाएगा, नहीं हो पाएगा सर, सॉरी इंशाल्लाह.
Interface
और
VLAN.
ये वर्चुअल आईपी गेटवे है क्या तो
हाँ
डीएचसीपी सर्वर का
हाँ
ओके
सबका VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40 सबका गेटवे हम मेरे पास here I have 2 physical gateway, right? And I am creating one virtual gateway by combining multiple physical gateway, and we have 3 protocol for that: HSRP, VRRP, and GLBP. So right now I am using HSRP protocol. By using HSRP protocol, I am going to configure it. Save it and so on VLAN 10 interface SVI 10,
Standby
VLAN 10,
10,
standby group number and IP
IP
192.168.1.100.
100,
Exit interface
20,
VLAN 20 IP
2.100,
.100, then 30 IP 3.100 and VLAN 40 4.100, correct? And so standby
brief,
brief. So
active,
for VLAN 10 active, for 20 30 you. Now on distribution switch 2 also we need to do same thing. Interface VLAN 10 standby group number 10 and IP 192.168.1.100. For VLAN 20,
2.200.
192.100. For VLAN 30.100. For VLAN 40, 4.100. Right? And so standby brief. For VLAN 10, this switch is in a standby. For VLAN 20, it is their state is a speaking, and for VLAN 3040, listening. Wait for some time. This switch will become a standby for all the VLAN. Why this switch will become a standby if even this switch has higher IP address?
Sir, we have configured it later
No,
after
here
10
is the lower
seconds.
IP address on distribution switch 2 also. Yeah, two reasons. You can say first we have configure HSRP on distribution switch 1, right? So within 10 seconds, if it will not receive any hello message of HSRP with higher priority or higher IP address, then it will declare yourself as active router.
Active.
Okay, so now if I will check on switch 1, so standby brief, you can see for all the VLAN this switch is my active VLAN, and on distribution switch 2 for all the VLAN this switch is the standby switch. Now from the client machine, if I will try to get IP address, system DHCP should work and it should get IP. So DORA process, now you can see it's working. RR.
Acknowledgement. Okay.
Right, so now my machine is able to get IP from the DHCP server. I can ping to my gateway IP address 192.168.1.100, right? And you know, when I am pinging to this virtual gateway, that means I am pinging to which device, distribution switch 1 or distribution switch 2. How you can verify that? By using this command,
MAC
so standby
address.
brief or MAC address, right? Both the switch will provide same MAC address in the response of ARP request message, because see, if I am going to ping, let's say 8.8.8 from PC number 1, first of all PC 1 need to resolve MAC address of default gateway, so it will generate the ARP request message. And important thing is which switch will generate response message. So only active switch will generate response message. Okay, which switch will generate response message? Active switch will generate response message. On the PC, if you are going to verify the MAC, the ARP table, RP, so you can see the MAC address. This is virtual MAC address, right?
Correct.
This is virtual MAC address, and who is providing? Distribution switch 1. So
Active
all the
one.
traffic will go via distribution switch 1 for all the VLAN. So where is the load balancing? Right now, am I achieving load balancing?
No.
So if I want to achieve load balancing here, what I can do? See, first of all, tell me the HSRP configuration on switch on the SVI interface is clear. Both are exactly same.
Correct.
Configuring on router or SVI interface. No, there is no difference. Here also we can use tracking and all the features. For any particular VLAN, tell me, can I increase the priority? For VLAN 10, if I want to increase the priority, can I do that?
Yes, we can.
So
DS.
on this switch 1, if I will increase the priority for VLAN 10 and 20, interface VLAN 10, standby number 10 and priority. Here I am configuring 1110, and we'll do same thing for VLAN 20 also. VLAN 20 1110, and on distribution number switch 2, I will increase the priority for VLAN 3040. Interface VLAN 30, standby group number 10 and priority 110. Interface VLAN 40, priority 110. So distribution switch 2 should become now active router for VLAN 30 and 40. Then we can achieve load balancing, but
Correct.
show standby brief. It's not happening like that. Why? because
Preemption
preemption is disabled.
disabled.
Now we need to enable preemption. How I can enable the preemption? On all the
Interface
interface I
VLAN
need
10.
to enable. So now I can use range command.
Correct.
VLAN 20, VLAN 30, and VLAN
40.
40. Standby number 10
10.
and preempt.
Preempt.
Do show history. Copy the command and let me paste it on distribution switch. Right now, if I am going to check standby brief, so standby brief. So this switch is only active for VLAN 10 and 20. Switch is active for VLAN 10 and 20 only, and distribution switch 2. So standby brief is active for VLAN 30 and 40. One switch is active switch for VLAN 10 and 20. Clear? So now we can achieve load balancing here. We are distributing the traffic between D switch 1 and D switch 2. Am I right, guys?
Correct.
Correct? If VLAN 10 want to communicate with VLAN 40, how traffic flow will be there?
VLAN 10.
Want to communicate with VLAN 40. Let's say PC1 is going to ping server, KCP server.
Mm-hmm.
How traffic will?
1020 clear. So first traffic will go to DS switch 1.
Okay.
And then it will leave directly from access to access switch 4 via E0/3 interface.
Okay. No. VLAN 40 SVI is on distribution switch 2 and VLAN 10 SVI is on switch number 1. I am talking about active SVI.
Okay.
About active SVI. So active SVI for VLAN 10 is on switch 1, active SVI for VLAN 40 is on switch number.
बट हमने चारों एसवीआई बना रखे हैं सर.
हाँ चारों SVI, लेकिन एक्टिव HSRP में एक्टिव ये switch 1 फिर सिर्फ VLAN 10 and 20 के
सर
लिए है ना.
लेयर 3
Correct,
ये तो
correct,
कॉन्फ़िगर
correct.
करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं तो नहीं होगा.
नहीं हो जाएगा सर. अभी भी आप पिंग करके
नहीं तो
देखेंगे.
सर ट्रंक पोर्ट ही करना पड़ेगा. टी स्विच
Trunk
1
तो
और डी
है
स्विच.
ही. अच्छा वो अगर वो कॉन्फ़िगर नहीं करेंगे तो नहीं होगा. Ping 192.160.4.1. This ping work?
Yes, that is why it is getting the IP address.
Working. Is working. Now I want to know how it is working. So for that what I can do, I can check the MAC address of my server. So interface
IP
F0/0 would be IA. See the MAC address on switch number 4. You know where it will run the MAC address, right?
E0/3.
So MAC address table and address where it is learning 0/3 on switch 1. So MAC address table address
Not found. मैक एड्रेस कॉपी नहीं हुआ लेकिन मिलेगा नहीं सर. हो जाता
0/3
है. 0/3 से आ रहा है. ओके.
0/3 here. And on distribution switch 2, so
मैक एड्रेस
MAC address table address where it is learning
0/0
/0.
ये कहाँ पे है सर? ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये कहाँ से आ रहा है सर? ये तो स्विच 1 से आ रहा है। ओके सर 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 सर
ट्रैफिक
ये
आपका सी
AS4 से DS1 देन AS switch 1 देन DS2
हाँ ऐसा कुछ है.
करेक्ट
So it is using
longest path
longest path. That's why here we will configure
ether channel
our channel, right? If I am going to configure this link as trunk link, then it will communicate like this. But right now these links are access link for VLAN 1, so it will not carry traffic of VLAN 10 or 40. But ये जो लंबा path use कर रहा है ना, ये issue, right? The issue is it is using longest path.
path तो latency वगैरह आएगी users
Latency.
को
So on distribution switch 1, I can say interface range E 1/02 1 and I can set this. On distribution switch 2,
same interface I think नहीं नहीं 1/0 1/3
interface range E 1/0 and E 1/. How I will configure the port channel?
so channel group
Channel group,
you can say 10
channel group 10
mod on
Mode
on.
active.
नहीं sir before this we have to run one more command sir no switch port
No switch port.
हाँ जी
Port.
and then channel group mode 10
Now this is layer 3.
correct
You are creating layer 3 channel now. Channel number 10 port on. Here also same command. Let
सर ये L2 इथर चैनल पे भी चल जाता ना
हाँ फिर बाद में आप नो स्विच पोर्ट.
नहीं मतलब इट वुड हैव वर्कड कम्युनिकेशन फिर डायरेक्टली होता ना
हाँ
ये हमने L3 बनाया इसीलिए कि बाहर से कुछ आएगा
routing
तो
के.
करेक्ट
Your ether channel is L2. That means it is layer 2 link. Route will be not exchange over here. Let's say if distribution switch 1 want to reach to internet and this link is not working, this is working, right? So they can reach like this. So if we don't have L3 link over here, then see between core layer and distribution layer I have 2 path, and if this is layer 3 then I have 3 path to reach core layer from the distribution layer. ज़्यादा path का मतलब क्या हुआ?
redundancy better
More. So here now on distribution switch 1 and distribution switch 2, so IP interface brief. So port channel is created, but port channel is not assigned and even down because my physical interfaces are down. So IP interface down, not assigned. Now first of all let me configure any subnet here. Which subnet you want to run? Let's run 12 subnet 12.1.1.0 between this switch 1 and this. So say IP address 12.1.1.1 here 255.255.255. So what it's saying, IP addresses may not be configured on member interface of L3 third channel range command terminate. Okay, I am on the physical interfaces. So interface P10 IP address 12.1.1.1 255.255.255.
0
Here interface and IP address 12.1.1.2 255.255.255.
So this P10 is we use for the L3 link.
Yes.
L3 is
Create L3 Ether channel.
okay.
And now on the range physical interfaces, I am going to run no set command. No set. What will happen? My port channel will come up. No set. And so IP is brief. Now you can see your port channel is up and the IP over here is 12.2 here. So IP interface 12.1 status and all this is ping 12.1.1.1 source 12.1.1. If you will not find the source 12.2 is working, right?
Correct.
So interface then root ccie. This is the MAC address. Which one is going to learn this MAC address on port channel? So MAC address on which interface it is learning?
0/0 सर ये तो एक्सेस स्विच 1 की तरफ जो जा रहा है वहां से लर्न हो रहा है
0/0. Here MAC address table
क्वेश्चन मार्क एक बार चलो
so
हम्म,
ARP
पोर्ट
OIP
चैनल की आप आ रही है आप तो आ रही है मैं कहता आ रहा है करेक्ट
port channel 10 pair. Now here between D switch 1 and D switch 2 we can exchange any routes by configuring any routing protocol and they will communicate by using L3 Ether channel. Because now suppose I have some SVI on D switch 2 which is not available on D switch 1. So it can D switch 1 can learn it through routing protocol and then it can route the traffic. So distribution layer switches are handling L2 as well as L3 traffic. Handling both types of traffic. For SVIs, let's suppose here between core layer and distribution layer you are running OSPF routing protocol. So R1 is going to learn these SVI 192.168.1.254 or 0 from how many side? From two side, from distribution layer switch 2 also, from distribution layer switch 1 also. If distribution layer switch 1 will goes down, no worry, these SVI will be still reachable. If this link will goes down, can R1 reach to the SVI on this switch 1? Yes, it can reach via this switch 2.
DS2
Because here also we will have OSPF, here we will have OSPF membership, right? So what we can do here, we can check reachability till core layer. You can configure router also. IP addresses on router and you can enable OSPF. You can down one switch to test it. You can down the interface to test it. And if I will talk about the packet flow now. Now if I am going to ping again server from the PC. So the PC IP address is 1.1, their gateway is 1.100. it will generate ARP request for their gateway, and D switch 1 is going to share their
MAC address.
MAC address, right? So now PC is going to forward traffic to D switch 1, and D switch 1 will perform routing, right? Because destination IP address is different. D switch 1 have one SVI for VLAN 10 where it is receiving the traffic. It will check, it will compare destination IP with routing table. Destination IP is 4.1, and 4.1 is connected on which SVI?
40.
40? 40?
Yes.
VLAN 40 SVI.
Yeah.
Then it is going to check routing table. In the routing table, it will compare 40. So SVI is there here on switch number 1 for VLAN 40. But let's suppose SVI is only created on switch number 2, D switch 2. Then it will compare again routing table. In the routing table, route will be there via any routing protocol,
OSPF.
and that
Yes.
will be reachable via 12.2.
2.
So it will forward from, right? Otherwise, if SVI is directly connected on VLAN 40 interface on D switch 1, then will it forward traffic from SVI 40? Yes, it will forward traffic from SVI 40 from the trunk link where VLAN 40 is allowed. If layer 2, even if layer 2 is broadcast in case of discover message, DSCP discover message, it will have the helper address on SVI 10. Helper address belongs to again different subnet, but SVI is directly connected, so it will not perform routing here. If SVI is directly connected, then router distribution switches will not perform routing. If SVI is not directly connected, then it will forward traffic from the port channel.
Sir, I have a question. That means ki L2 link would be preferred over L3 link in this case. मतलब trunk link से traffic forward होगा because SVI is created over here, right?
Trunk
अगर
links
suppose करो
forward ना?
नहीं वो तो ठीक है इथर चैनल के कंपैरिजन में अगर इथर चैनल वहां से 4.1 सर वहां से भी आ ही रहा होगा ना अभी हमने रिमूव कहाँ किया है
कहाँ से आ रहा?
वी हैव नॉट सर आप शो आईपी इंटरफेस ब्रीफ चलाइए एक
सो
बार
आईपी राउट चलाएगा ये और फाइंड करेगा 40.1, 40.1, 4.1.
करेक्ट
4.1 will match over here in this entry. This subnet is directly connected on their
VLAN
VLAN
40
40 interface. So it will forward traffic from VLAN 40 interface only.
करेक्ट
राइट? और VLAN 40 में कौन सा इंटरफेस है? ये सारे ट्रंक लिंक.
सारे अलाउड है करेक्ट
हाँ, तो ये सारे इंटरफेस से ये भेजे.
अगर सपोज करो इफ वी हैव एडवर्टाइज ऑल दी सबनेट्स 10 20 30 40 on in OSPF on 1 and 2 both then in that case where would be selection
तब भी ऐसे ही होगा ना. अब भाई सेम एसपीआई का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन स्विच 1 पे क्रिएटेड है, तो वो उसको ओएसपीएफ से रिसीव भी करेगा, तो उसको यूज नहीं करेगा ना.
okay
डायरेक्टली
that
कनेक्टेड विल बी प्रीफर्ड.
correct
Well, router OSPF 1 router ID .1 work 12.1.0 wildcard 00255 area
0
on D switch 2 150 router OSPF 1 router ID 2.2.2 and network 12.1.0.0.0.255 area.
0
So now I am expecting OSPF neighbor CP here. So IP OSPF in pasted we can change the network type also. Interface port channel 10 IP OSPF
point to point
network point to point for faster connection. But make sure you are changing the network type on port channel, not on the physical interface.
but that will enable directly on physical interface as well
Physical
right
interface पे OSPF चल ही नहीं रहा है. It is only
हाँ
sending hello message from the physical interface.
okay
IP OSPF नेटवर्क पॉइंट टू पॉइंट। यहाँ भी आपके लैंड साइड में ना कैंपस में OSPF ही चलता है मोस्ट ऑफ। यहाँ भी क्या चल रहा होगा?
EIGRP है, उस पे चल रहा होता है सर।
And the core layer devices will have route through any routing protocol, and these all link will be L3 on distribution switch like Ethernet 1/2, Ethernet 1/. Ports are going to be L3. Now you can see we have OSPF neighborship, but क्या कोई route learn हो रहा होगा? So IP OSPF neighbor is done, so IP route OSPF.
Sir, we have not advertised any route in
Yeah, we have,
OSPF.
and see neighbor is there on which port? On port channel 10. For now I am configuring link between distribution layer and core layer also. Interface E 1/2. कहीं पे 12 का सबमिट यूज नहीं कर रहा हूँ.
12 का तो पोर्ट चैनल पे हो रहा है सर अपना।
No switch port and the IP address 10.1.1.1.255.255.255 dot. Then interface E 1/3 also no switch port. IP address 10.1.4.1 255.255.255 dot. And we can do one more thing. We can enable OSPF on the interface 1/2 IP OSPF1 area 0 and IP OSPF network point to point. Interface E 1/3 IP OSPF network point to point IP OSPF1 area. Similarly on distribution layer switch 2 also config T interface Ethernet 1/1 no switch port IP address 10.1.2.1 255.255.255 dot. तो फिर आपका ये पूरा टोपोलॉजी फिगर हो जाए. OSPF network point to
ISP बचेगा।
point IP OSPF 1 area 0. Then interface E 1/2 again no switch port IP address 10.1.5.1 255.255.255 dot. So IP OSPF 1 area 0 and IP network
point to point.
फिर ऑर्डर पे चलिए. here you need to forward all the SVIs to core layer switches, then only core layer switch will route the traffic. Core layer router or switch, core layer devices you can say. Core layer devices should have all the SVIs network. Config T interface F0/0 no such IP address 10.1.1.1 255.255.255 dot. Sorry, not 1 2 ना.
2 होएगा यहाँ पे।
IP OSPF 1 area 0 and IP OSPF network point to point. Interface F2/0 no such IP address 10.1.5.2 255.255.255 dot. So OSPF network
Point to point.
OSPF network point to point. OSPF network point to point IP OSPF 1 area. Here also I am expecting OSPF neighborship 2, so IP OSPF interface brief.
Okay.
So IP OSPF and on router number 1 can verify it that it is receiving SVI's network or not. So IP dot OSPF. So not
नहीं
coming
अभी नहीं।
because we have not enabled OSPF on the SVI interfaces. Now we need to enable OSPF on SVI interface also. Well, config T interface F0/0 no search IP address 10.1.2.2 255.255.255.0 and IP work point F1 area
0.
The last interface is 2/0. Set this dot 1 dot 4 dot 255 255 255 dot point F1 area.
0.
And now go to distribution switches and enable OSPF on. Interface range VLAN 10 and VLAN 20
20
30
to 40.
40. IP OSPF 1 area.
0.
So 3. Now if you will verify your R1 routing table, so IP.ospf, you can see all these 192 source subnet is coming, right? And it is performing load balancing as well, you can see. On the router number 1, we are performing load balancing for VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40 for all the VLAN. One next hop is one route is there on F2/0 and one is on F0/0. So both the switches are advertising the prefixes. And now router 1 and router 2 advertise default route in your LAN. So LAN user can access internet or not. Internet interface F1/0 search address 1.1.1.1 255 255 255 dot IP route 0.0.0 0.0.0 F1/0 and next hop IP 1.1.2. Then router OSPF 1 and default information.
Originate.
Now on the distribution layer switches, we will have default. So IP route OSPF default route is. Now it can route the traffic for internet towards 4 layer. And here from the distribution layer, you can track router 1, you can track the ISP, you can track router 2, any device. You can track these links. Going to be my configuration on router number 1. If you want to access internet here, router number on ISP1 also you can configure the IP. After that I will have internet access, right guys? Router, because my core router have routes in the routing table for all the VLANs, SVI, and distribution layer switches have default route. Config T interface loopback 1 IP address 8.8.8.8 55255.255.55
0.
and then interface F0/0 set IP address 1.1.255.255.255 dot
0.
interface. Now can PC access internet? If I will ping 8.8.8, will ping work? Yes, ping should work. Can do one more thing on the router 1. I can
Netting.
configure
Netting.
netting interface F0/0 और
सब बिना
interface
नेटिंग के तो नहीं होगा ना सर पिंग.
अभी ping एक default route फिर ISP पे
डिफॉल्ट
configure कर.
करेक्ट उस तरफ डाल देंगे तो आ जाएगा फिर.
तो
बट सर फॉर एवरी VLAN के लिए डालना पड़ेगा अपने को फिर.
क्या default route डाल देंगे ना,
ओके ओके.
या फिर IPNet inside interface F1/0 IPNet this list number 10 permit 192.168.0.0.0.255.55 IP at side source and interface F1/0 over.
अब पिंग कर पाएगा.
from the PC, if you will check ping 8.8.8.8 work. And in the HSRP, you can verify which router, which distribution layer switch is my active switch. So all the VLAN 10 traffic will go via distribution switch 1. Like if this user want to access internet, traffic will go from here. If this user want to access internet, again traffic will go from here. But if this user want to access internet, traffic will go this. Yes or no?
Correct.
तो ऐसे हम ट्रैफिक को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं लोड बैलेंस. On distribution switch 1, similarly we have track feature here. Interface VLAN 10 standby number 10 and track number, and decrement the priority whenever track bill goes down. Let's say 10. Can do one thing, we can call IPSLA in track 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Option to face. You have to use external track here.
बट राउटर में तो आपने दिखाया था सर.
यहाँ पे only external track feature is. Now I am going to remove HSRP protocol, and instead of HSRP I will enable VRRP protocol here. Okay. So if I am going to say interface range VLAN 10, 20, 10, 30 and VLAN 40. If I am going to say no standby number 10 IP 192 dot, no
नहीं हो
standby
पाएगा.
number 10 command also
हाँ, चल
working.
जाएगा. हाँ.
So standby. Now can PC1 access internet? Why? Why are these switch 2? Because
1.
if switch 1 will goes down, then switch 2 will become active for all the VLAN.
Correct.
On the PC even you can use trace route, right? And you can find your next hop IP address also. On D switch 2 also, if I will remove the configuration from, I am saying here also no standby 10. Now there is no any active switch for VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. Can this user ping to internet?
Yes.
How? How ping is working?
Can we check the trace?
RP.
1.100. So फिर पिंग करके देखना भी इंटरनेट आ रहा है. सर गेटवे का आईपी पिंग नहीं हो रहा, लेकिन इंटरनेट पिंग हो रहा है.
Or right? इसके वजह से
सर ये बट फिजिकल एड्रेस क्यों नहीं ले रहा सर ये?
फिजिकल एड्रेस कहाँ गेटवे है ही नहीं फिजिकल, आप ही ने तो कॉन्फ़िगर किया है ना .100।
ओके, अगर हम इसका फिजिकल एड्रेस एक बार चेंज करके देखें, वीपीसी का डोरा की
तो फिर
बजाय।
होगा ना
ओके,
192.168.1.1/24 एंड 192.4
254 254।
तो फिर
ओके,
so now let me create virtual IP address by using which protocol?
VRRP
VRP. config
कंट्रोल
T
सर वो
इंटरफेस।
HSRP 1 और 2 हो गया क्या? व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन HSRP 1 एंड
वर्जन 1 और वर्जन 2।
version 1 कहाँ यूज होता
सर VRRP 2
नो बट इन इंटरव्यू दे आस्क
है? version 1 version
वर्जन 2 में सर 102 पे
address
मल्टीकास्ट एड्रेस।
then both uses UDP protocol. Well, it is comparing RP version 1, 2 and VRRP. Time
Only the destination MAC address you can say is
yeah.
different.
Multicast IP address you friend friends with friends name. Working configuration everything for the VRRP command is going to be VRRP instead of standby. Here you will use VRRP command and then group number same 10 and then IP 192.168.1.
और इसमें सर प्रिम्प्ट ऑलरेडी इनेबल है सर इसमें।
VRRP में प्रिंट प्रिंटेबल होता है कि by default VRRP by default print is well, and difference between VRRP and HSRP is what?
This only, and it
No,
is
this
faster as
is
well.
open standard.
Yeah, and that is also
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
VLAN 20 and VRRP number 10. In HSRP, we can do one more thing. We can create two groups for load balancing. We can create two group interface and 10. Standby 10,
10,
standby 20, and for any particular group we can increase the priority. That way also we can achieve load balancing.
so in the same VLAN we can do it.
Same.
Okay. ये HSRP का पार्ट है, करेक्ट?
दो मल्टीपल ग्रुप बना लो आप, 10 है 20, दो ग्रुप है 10 है मैं 10 के लिए हायर प्रायोरिटी कर, उस तरीके से भी आप लोड बैलेंस अचीव कर. You have seen the one method, right, for the load balancing, and we can achieve load balancing by creating multiple group also. And VRP again here for VLAN 20 IP 192.168.2. For VLAN 30 VRRP dot 100 44 dot. So this switch is going to be my active switch for all the VLAN, and election criteria is similar like HSRP. After election, see here in VRRP, one switch will become master switch. Master, and election of master switch is similar like HSRP. You can see this switch is master switch. For which VLAN? For VLAN 40. For all the VLANs. So standby. Sorry. So VRRP 5. For all the VLAN, this switch is the मास्टर स्विच. वो बुक में देखे कि नहीं एसआरपी प्रोटोकॉल थोड़ा ओपन किया
नहीं सर.
और आपको यार
क्या यही बता दीजिए सर.
okay, first of all tell me one thing. If I am going to now enable VRRP on switch number 2, then which switch will become master switch? Switch 1 or switch 2? Assumption for master switch is enable. One will be my master switch or switch 2 after enable VRRP. Phase VLAN VRRP number IP. So this switch will become master switch. Now you can see from init backup. I think this switch should no this have lower IP address, so switch 1 is lower. But if I will configure higher priority over here, then this switch will become root because of preemption.
मास्टर स्विच.
Yes. Master switch means active switch in HSRP. Will forward the traffic. And here in VRRP, rest all the routers selected as backup switch. The master switch will goes down. One backup router will become VRRP. We have only 3 states. Initialization, init, this one, then backup, and after that, only 3 states are there in VRRP. HSRP, how many states are there? Listening, speaking, learning, right?
करेक्ट.
Init. But here in VRRP, have only init, backup, init is starting state when router will come up. When router, when you will enable the VRRP on the interface, or whenever it come up, means in a state router is waiting for VRRP message, it can receive the message, transmit the VRRP message. Backup state means router is advertising their VRRP hello message and it is expecting VRRP hello message face. And after receiving, until and unless a router will not receive hello message, state is going to be backup. After 10 seconds, state is going to be master. But within 10 seconds, if it will receive the hello message with higher priority or higher IP address, it will keep their port in backup. Active means you know the master means responsible to forward. Advertise, sorry, which here their MAC address, or you can say which will generate the ARP reply. After that, after the election, your master router advertising ARP help. Again, the preemption like tracking concept is exactly same like HSRP. We can configure decrement in priority according to our requirement from the range 5 can configure the priority, and you can decrement in priority whenever your track will goes down or whenever your WAN link. VRRP works at which layer? Anyone have idea? It application layer protocol, guys.
No, sir, network layer.
Work layer. So HSRP works at
Application layer.
application layer. VRRP works at work layer.
Yeah.
And the multicast address is 24.0.0. I think
18.
right.
Yeah.
And protocol number
112.
protocol number for VRP
Sir, network layer means all the messages it is.
will be
It's,
generated at network layer. So definitely it will be faster than HSRP protocol.
yes, correct.
So VRRP is faster than VRRP also support two types of authentication, plain text and 5. Here virtual MAC address, not virtual MAC. Last it is going to be access, which again router with highest priority will become active router, master router, all the router. If priority is same, then again highest IP. Here you can see the detailed information by running command. So VRRP. So similar like so by command. So VRRP for VLAN 10, for VLAN 20, for VLAN 30, and for VLAN 40. For any VLAN, you can see this state is master, virtual IP address, virtual MAC address. Here is the virtual MAC address. Assumption is by default. Configure priority is 100. Master router IP address, this is local. Advertising, hello message after every downtime is hold on time. Hello time is 1 second, hold on time is. Then here you can say VRRP, question mark or group number. Then you can see table pre, configure priority, track, configure authentication. If I will use track here, again it is asking for the track object number. So only external track is not inbuilt in VRRP. We have to use external track. You know how we are using external track? Like guys, we can create track like this also, track 1, and then in this track I can directly check the interface state. interface, fast Ethernet, not fast Ethernet, 1/2 connected to router. If I want to track this, track number 1, and here I can say line protocol of this interface. So track 1 is created. So track, this track is tracking the line protocol of Ethernet 1/2, and the line protocol is up. That's why your track is up. Now I can use this track in RP. Yes, VLAN 10 track VR 10 track. So what will happen if Ethernet 1/2 will goes down? Shut down.
सर वो आई
Also,
थिंक डिक्रीमेंट इन प्रायोरिटी कर देगा वो.
must go VRRP is backup switch. So I want to make this switch as active switch. What I can do? Interface
प्रायोरिटी
VLAN 10 VRRP number 10 priority 11.
110
So
120 कर दीजिए सर. नहीं
20.
105.
Now if I am going to down this interface Ethernet 1/2, go down to go VRRP. You can see this.
मास्टर.
Now this is why. So VRRP
सर इसने सर
priority
प्रायोरिटी इसमें 95 हो गई है सर.
by 10. Like HSRP. Or you call IPSLA in the track. Want to track the ISP. So tracking
सर
is
सर वो फिर तीनों काम करेगा. आईपीएसएल अगर हमने सेम ट्रैक 1 में कॉल कर दिया तो जैसे ही आईएसपी डाउन जाएगा
track भी
यहाँ पे
down जाएगा.
प्रायोरिटी करेक्ट ट्रैक डाउन जाएगा तो यहाँ वीआरपी में वो डिक्रीमेंट हो जाएगा. ओके मतलब दो ट्रैक एक में ही काम कर सकते हैं. यू कैन से मतलब एक ट्रैक में दो कंडीशन सेट कर सकते हैं.
ट्रैक में दो कंडीशन. फिर ट्रैक 1 में सिर्फ और सिर्फ आप आईएसपी को ट्रैक प्रोटोकॉल. तो लाइन प्रोटोकॉल तो वैसे ही है ना फिर फेस का.
हाँ वैसे ही डायरेक्टली ही दिख रहा है वो तो क्योंकि डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड इंटरफेस है तो वो हटा सकते
तो
हैं.
राउटर लॉग जनरेट कर. So
हम्म,
according to this log also we can find the action that whenever router will generate this log, just run no set command or this command, that can do those all things. I've heard about event. So tracking सब लोग ये सब फीचर यूज को डाला हूँ.
आपने डाला है लेकिन मैं थोड़ा सा ही देख पाया हूँ सर.
वो सब फीचर यहाँ पे would know the basic tracking, that how tracking is working in RRP, how tracking RP. So in both case it is working. Then you can do one more thing, interface VLAN 10 and VRRP number 10 and track 1, and if you want to decrement in priority by 20 then you can use decrement here, and I can set 20 here. Now whenever track will goes down it will decrement in priority by 20.
20
By default
by
it
default it is done.
10. Yeah. If you want to play with timer, BRRP, group number 10 and timer. Advertise time means advertising time. You can say advertise.
सर इसमें 1 सेकेंड ही है तो सर इसमें क्या ही चेंज करेंगे?
1 second. हाँ मतलब these are the basic command. All the commands are easy. You can find it through question mark also.
बट हाँ उसमें मिली सेकेंड्स आ रहा था सर मेंशन करने का भी। अभी ऊपर करेंगे स्क्रीन पे, आप एंटर मत दबाइए, ऊपर ही जाइए। हाँ मिली सेकेंड्स करके भी आ रहा था नीचे, एमएस स्पेसिफाई टाइम इन मिली सेकेंड्स।
सेकंड में भी है और सेकंड में भी है। फिर सिस्को ने आया अपना प्रोटोकॉल लेके। नाउ सिस्को केम अप विद देयर ऑन प्रोटोकॉल टू अचीव load balance. See here, if switch 1 is my active switch for VLAN 1020 and switch 2 is active switch for VLAN 30 and 40, then we can achieve load balancing. Then we can achieve load balancing, right? But can I achieve load balancing for a single active switch? Like this, if I have multiple switch, one more switch is there, one more switch is there, right? And let's say I have only one VLAN 10. So in that case, can I achieve load balancing?
So question again, sir.
I have, let's say, two switches are there and I have only one VLAN 10. Can I achieve load balancing in HSRP and VRRP?
Yes. सर हम लोग
फिर
सबनेट को तोड़
मल्टीपल
सकते
ग्रुप
हैं ना?
आपको बनाना पड़ेगा सिंगल ग्रुप
सबनेट
में।
को तोड़ सकते हैं ना?
VLAN 10
सबनेट को
एक ही
स्लैश
तो
25
सबनेट
25
होगा।
में तोड़ते हैं। नहीं 25 25 में तोड़ के एंड एक वीलन 10 यहाँ पे बना दें
एक
और
ही
एक
VLAN है। VLAN 10 यहाँ पे भी है, VLAN 10 यहाँ पे भी है। For the same VLAN you can achieve load balancing. HSRP or VRP are performing load balancing based on per LAN, right? Or you can say per group also, right? For a single VLAN we cannot achieve load balancing, but Cisco को तो भाई load balancing चाहिए। So Cisco have created their own protocol for load balancing for a single VLAN for a single group called
GLBP.
LBP. Question is how it is possible. How load balancing is possible for single VLAN and single group. So see in GLBP what is the difference? HSRP and VRP are same, no difference. Almost both the protocols are same. One is Cisco proprietary, another one is one standard. And GLBP is again Cisco proprietary protocol. On Cisco devices you will always configure GLBP, right? So here we can see GLBP stands for what, guys? Gateway Load Balancing Protocol. Gateway Load Balancing. First thing, by default HSRP and VRRP can not
सर स्क्रीन में कुछ नहीं आ रहा है, वो शायद
perform.
फोटो
बाकी के लिए बाकी सबके
और
लिए स्क्रीन ठीक है।
सर स्क्रीन में कुछ नहीं आ रहा।
एक बार रीज्वाइन करिए, बंद करके री No, it's okay, bro. Check now. My side internet speed is 300 Mbps. Okay. By
Yes.
default, HSRP and VRP cannot perform load balancing. That's why we come up with GLBP. To perform load balancing in HSRP and VRRP, we have to create multiple group. Right? Then only you can perform load balancing. But GLBP can perform load balancing for single group. Perform single. The only thing which we need to understand over here is how. Otherwise, process is same, right? This protocol is also used to create virtual IP address from the multiple physical IP address. Virtual, the hello time, hold on time, tracking, and the configuration. All the things are exactly. The difference is how it can perform the load balancing. Right? Timer, hello timer of GLBP is 3 seconds, similar like HSRP. Hold on time is 10 seconds, similar like HSRP. This is also application layer protocol, similar like HSRP, because both are Cisco proprietary. Most of the functions are same. Multicast address is 224.0.0.102. 102. By default priority is similar like HSRP 100. And there is one more thing with priority called wait. By default preemption is also disabled like HSRP. In HSRP by default preemption is enabled, right? Priority configure priority by default priority for all the protocol is same 100. HSRP also, VRRP also, and GLBP also.
Sir, sir, Premchan is enabled in HSRP for
Standby.
backup standby, correct?
Yes.
So it is disabled for both over here.
Here for the standby preemption is again enable, and for the active router it is disable. Similar like
Okay.
HSRP protocol.
For active, it is disabled.
In the HSRP, how many types of router can be there in the group? In the HSRP group, 3 types of router, right?
Correct.
Active, standby, and
Listening.
here also we can have 3 types of router in group. But here are 2 main components of GLBP which perform load balancing. One is AVG. You need to learn AVG. What is AVG? And you need to learn AVF. These are 2 components of GLBP protocol. In the HSRP, you said there can be 3 types of router: active, listen, standby. I am saying here we have 2 types of router first, AVG and AVF. What is AVG? AVG stands for active virtual
Gateway.
gateway, and AVF stands for active virtual forwarder. थोड़ा समझ में
Sir,
आया? One
nahi
is
sir.
active
Forwarder.
virtual gateway and one is active virtual forwarder. That means the forwarder means who is going to forward the traffic. That means forwarder is different here, and the active virtual gateway is different, right? In any group, in all the group of GLBP, we will have AVF router or and AVG router. Both types of router will be there. For an example, I have 3 router here: R1, R2, R3. Once you will enable GLBP protocol here,
सर पहली बार पढ़ रहा हूँ GLVP.
Suppose I have 3 routers. Once you will enable GLBP, what will happen? R1 on R1. What will happen on R1 after enabling GLBP? R1 will become active router for ABG. If you will enable GLBP on every router within 10 seconds, then R3 will become active router for ABG. Because R3 have higher IP address, dot 3 here, dot 2 here, let's say, and dot 1 here. Selection criteria is same.
Same.
Highest IP is the best and highest IP address is the best. Now, in my GLVP group, there are 3 routers. One router will become ABG. Which router will become ABG? If I will enable GLVP within 10 seconds on all the router, then which router will become ABG? R3 will become ABG. Right? If I will configure, if I want R1 should be my AVG, then here I have to configure higher priority. Right? So the higher priority or higher IP address will work for AVG only. For which election? AVG election. It is similar like your active router in HSRP. But all the router in AVG will become AVF. Router 1 is also AVF, router 2 is also AVF, router 3 is also AVF. Whatever routers are there in the GLVP group, all the router will become AVF.
तो सर AVG का सिलेक्शन हुआ ही क्यों है फिर?
अब AVG का इलेक्शन देखिए क्या हुआ. AVG यहाँ पे कौन सा router एक्टिव है for the AVG? Router 1, the active
Because we
router.
have configured it
Router 2 is
GLVP first.
in listen state, and router 3 is, let's say, standby. For ABG.
Sir, it depend upon forwarder, na sir? Forwarder router, na? Okay, okay.
My virtual gateway IP address is 192.168.1 dot. My virtual यहाँ पे switch, all the routers are. This is the scenario, same scenario, right? Step 1. When PC will generate ARP request message for virtual gateway, but PC will get what gateway IP address? 1.100. And here we have enabled the GLBP protocol. We have configured this IP address as a virtual IP address. If when PC1 will generate ARP request message for gateway, gateway is 1.100. Active router for the AVG will reply. Which router will reply? ABG router. Albase and albase. Which router will generate? ABG router, who is active for the AVG. And R1 is the active for AVG, so R1 will generate reply. But in the reply, AVG active router will forward the MAC address of all AVF, all the router. Active router will provide MAC address of AVF. And there can be maximum 4 AVF in one group. How many AVF can be there? 4 AVF. So router 1 is, let's say, AVF1. AVF1. Router 2 is AVF2. And router 3 is AVF. So when this PC is going to generate ARP request message, right? Router 1 will send their own MAC address, AVF1 MAC address. When there is another PC who will generate ARP request for the gateway, AVG is going to provide MAC address of forwarder 2, router 2. When third PC will generate ARP request, ABG router will provide MAC address of AVF3. Again, when PC4 will generate ARP request, it will provide their own MAC address, AVF1 MAC address, then AVF2, then AVF3. Again AVF1, 2, 3. Right? So 4 routers can be there, 4 AVF can be there in one ABG. That means it will be performing load balancing between all the 4 routers.
So AVF is responsible to providing MAC address
MAC
for
address.
the.
Yes. So for an example, again we have same topology router 1, 2 and 3. All the routers are connected to one switch, and here my piece. One, see, all the gateway will forwarding user traffic. And your AVG will have information of all the AVF. AVG will carry information of all the AVF. So see how it will work. It is going to work like this. First of all, it will perform election for AVG. And which router will become AVG? Let's say router 1 is my active router for AVG. First election will happen for AVG, right? Let's say router 1 is my active router for this AVG, and router 2 is my again in listening state, and router 3 is standby. APG election is done. Any router can become active, and router can become standby. You already know the router who will have higher priority or higher IP address will become. After that,
So states are similar like HSRP,
yes,
right?
yes, exactly similar. Exactly similar. Now this
Okay.
ABG is going to maintain one table. ABF1. How many routers are there? 3 routers are there. Right? So there will be F, ABF2, ABF1. ABF. ABF1, router 1 is the active router. This router is
सर
in listening state, listening state.
सर ये खुद भी ये एवीजी अपना
Yes, router 1
एवीएफ
is
होगा
ABC as well as
एवीएफ
AVF. For AVF2, which router is active router? Router 2 is the active router. And for AVF3, which router is the active router?
router 3
Right? So when it will receive first ARP request message, it will provide MAC address of AVF1. For second ARP request, MAC address of AVF2. For third ARP request, MAC address of AVF4.
3
Yeah. Right? So for an example, AVG will have information, it will maintain one table. The table there will be information like for AVF1, there will be information like this. For AVF1, which router is the active router? R1
correct
and MAC address of R1. Okay, 0101. For AVF2, which router is the active router? R2, right? MAC address is 101. So anything. For AVF3, R3 is the active router. MAC address is 1. By using this table, ABF table, it is going to perform.
sir all the routers would be maintaining this AVI table
No, only AVG.
अच्छा okay
अगर If PC have MAC address of router 2, then it will forward traffic to router 2 because switch is going to forward traffic on the basis of MAC address only, right?
Correct.
If switch will forward traffic to router 2 will forward it to internet. If switch will forward traffic to router 3 will forward to internet, right? So switch is going to forward traffic on the basis of MAC address. And how PC will get MAC address? AVZ will provide that. And AVZ will have information of all the
AVFs.
So, sir, in AVG also number of group will be there, right? If we consider as six numbers of routers, then four will go with the AVG one, and then last remaining two will be go to AVG two, right?
correct.
In that, okay.
If you are going to put all the 6 router in single AVZ group, then you will have 4 routers, 4 ABFs, and rest all will be in listening state. 4 active AVF can be there in one group.
Okay. Mhm.
So if I will talk about the configuration, so you can configure here also on router also. I am showing you here. You can try it by yourself on router. First of all, I will remove the VRP configuration. Interface VLAN 10.
Sir, what about the incoming traffic then? जो आएगा इसमें AVF में जैसे
Coming
स्विच विल
traffic,
हाँ जैसे ऊपर से आएगा राउटर से आएगा या कोर स्विच से आएगा
वो तो राउटिंग करेगा ना, जहाँ पे लर्न हुआ होगा प्रीफिक्स वहीं पे जाएगा. If core router is learning prefixes through OSPF and all the paths are best, then it will perform load balancing. I can configure this link as a best path, this path as a, so accordingly you can choose the path.
ओके
ये तो वही ट्रेडिशनल राउटिंग चलेगा ना यहाँ पे सेक्शन फ्लैप पैकेट से.
ओके
So here on distribution switch 1 for VLAN 10 only I am going to remove VRP. No, VRP group number was 10 I think, right? So VRP, so for VLAN 10 VRP is not running. Go to router number, and here for GLBP at least you should have 3 router, right? Check everything. Interface VLAN 10, no VRP, and I will enable GLBP. Command is again same. Interface VLAN 10, GLBP group number 10 and the IP address 192.168.1.100. On router number 2 also GLBP group number 10, IP 192.168.1. Now which router will become, guys? AVG on router
स्विच वन
number 1. So GLBP, so GLBP also you, here you can see the log message also. So GLBP state is virtual IP
एक्टिव
address, hello time, hold on time, Yamson, active router. It is active. It is talking about
लोकल itself
AVZ, and here you can see the forwarder 1 and forwarder 2. How many forwarder are there? 2 forwarder because 2 routers are there. How many forwarders are there? 2 forwarders are there. Forwarder 1 means for first ARP request message it is going to share there on MAC address, this one. For second ARP request message it is going to send
नेबर
this MAC address, R2 MAC address, right? So in this case both the distribution layer switches forwarding the traffic. Distribution switch 1 and distribution switch 2, both the switch are forwarding the user traffic.
ब्रीफ करके चलाना सर। सर इसमें एक्टिव के लिए प्रेमचंद इनेबल्ड दिखा रहा है सर, इसी में ही आप ऊपर देखेंगे कमांड में स्टेट इज एक्टिव, प्रेमचंद इज इनेबल्ड। सर नीचे फॉरवर्डर में इनेबल्ड दिखा रहा है।
फॉरवर्डर में इनेबल दिखाता है, फॉरवर्डर के लिए इनेबल रहता है।
ओके।
ये है एक्टिव का आप
हम्म।
फॉरवर्ड। And how it is calculating the MAC address? This is last digit is forwarder address. Okay. See, this is group number. This value will be same. After that, first 2 bit is first 2 octet is value is group number, and then forwarder number. So
अगर
forwarder
3 होते
1
तो
0 1,
03 हो जाता है एक और।
हाँ एक और होता तो।
ओके।
Standby router is 1.253. Okay. For the ABG, can test it. VLAN 10 में दो.
हाँ है, PC1 और PC4 है।
So let me take you to PC1 first. 1, and I am going to ping, let's say 8.8. Ping is working, and let me show you the ARP. MAC address is, तो हम लग रहा है गेटवे IP एड्रेस फिजिकल दे दिया है
सर वो
4.1
स्टैटिकली दे रखा था हमने, स्टैटिकली दे रखा था सर, इसमें हटाइए इसको, डोरा से लीजिए आईपी।
IP DHCP. Ping 8.8. ARP 100.1 MAC address is 01, means it is MAC address of forwarder 1, right?
करेक्ट।
This is the MAC address of forwarder. If I am going to access PC4 and IP DHCP, and then ping 8.8.8.8 is working, and ARP, this is MAC address of
02
forwarder
फॉरवर्डर
2, right? So if any other PC, third PC will generate ARP request, again they will get IP from
01
forwarder 1 01.
राउंड रॉबिन में चलेगा
राउंड
बेसिकली।
रोबिन में ही चलता है, राइट? लोड बैलेंसिंग एल्गोरिथम इज राउंड रोबिन, and here we have weight value as well for the load balancing only, right? By default, load balancing algorithm is round robin. By using weight attribute also you can achieve load balancing, or host dependent load balancing is also possible, but that we don't need to discuss, we need to learn. यहाँ पे हम बोल
वेट
सकते
वाला बता दीजिए एक बार।
GLBP interface VLAN 10, we can say GLBP 1, and then load balancing, and if I will put question mark, you can see round robin is there, which is the default one. Then I can use weight, right? And weight, after that here you can see do so GLBP. Weight is what? Weight for forwarder 1 is 100, and weight for
नीचे आएंगे सर, फॉरवर्डर 1 एरा
here 100, and for forwarder 2 is also
100।
100, right? So if I want to send 2 packets from forwarder 1 and 1 packet from forwarder 2, here I can configure weight what? 200. Here 100, or I can configure here 2, then I can configure here 1, and after that we can change the load balancing algorithm. but it's recommendation to use round robin here. This is the default one, and here it will perform load balancing on the basis of host, right? If two different users are accessing the internet, maybe one is using default gateway 1, another is using default gateway 2, distribution switch 1, distribution switch.
सर सपोज मुझे फेल ओवर करना हो, फोर्सफुल फेल ओवर, देन हाउ विल इट बी डन? जैसे वीआरआरपी में और एचएसआरपी में वी वर डूइंग वाया प्रायोरिटी, राइट?
फेल ओवर करना हो मतलब एक्टिव प्राइमरी सिनेरियो बनाना हो,
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली।
तो फिर आप यूज ही क्यों करेंगे जीएलबीपी? जीएलबीपी इज गोइंग टू कंज्यूम मोर मेमोरी।
ओके,
फेल
इसीलिए
ओवर
यूज
के
नहीं
लिए हम
होता है।
वीआरआरपी यूज करेंगे या एचएसआरपी यूज। हम यहाँ
ओके,
पे अगर ये ऐसा मेरा रिक्वायरमेंट है कि भाई 4 गेटवे है, चारों एक्टिव है, तो चारों को ट्रैफिक करना चाहिए, फॉरवर्ड करना चाहिए, देन विल यूज दिस एलबीपी।
ओके, ओके, ओके।
So by default load balancing algorithm is 1:1 between two devices. Between three devices, three daughter, load balancing algorithm is 1:1:1.
वन।
If you want to change it, you can. Maybe you want to configure 4:2:1, like that you can set it. I can configure here with 40, here I can configure with 20, and here I can configure with 10. Right? And after that I can change the load balancing.
तो वेट का कमांड क्या है सर, चेंज करने का?
Wait का GLBP group number 10.
ओके,
Even you can decrement in weight by using track. अरे जैसे HSRP में था ना, चाहते हैं कि भाई अगर वन लिंक डाउन हो जाए तो ये वेट एट्रीब्यूट कम कर दे। मान लीजिए राउटर 1, इफ राउटर 1 इज कनेक्टेड टू टू डिफरेंट ISP, right? ISP 1 is the primary ISP, ISP 2 is the backup ISP, right? So what I want that until and unless ISP 1 is up, primary ISP 1 is up, router should perform load balancing in this ratio. But if ISP 1 is down, then it should perform load balancing in this ratio 10-20-10, राइट? सो वेट के साथ हम क्या कर सकते हैं, ट्रैक कर सकते हैं। भाई अगर ISP 1 बिल गोज डाउन, इट विल डिक्रीमेंट इन वेट बाय 30।
ओके।
हाँ संतर सारे सेम पर्पस, all the protocols are doing same task, but we are performing load balancing for single VLAN, which is not possible in RP. In HSRP, if I have same VLAN interface here, SVI for VLAN 10, SVI for VLAN 10, can anyone tell me how I can achieve load balancing? HSRP.
Two different group.
Two different group. Interface, let's say VLAN 20 and no VRRP number 10. Do so history on distribution switch. Also I am going to run this. Yes, and here I am enabling a standby group number 10 and IP 192.168.2.100. Okay. So standby brief
ब्रीफ।
for VLAN 20 in listening state. Wait for some time.
स्टैंड बाय बन गया.
active. Active. So who is saying two group? Interface VLAN 20, standby group number 20, IP 192.168.1 dot. What it's saying?
Overlaps with VLAN 10. 1 to 200 हमने उसमें काउंट
What
डाला
it's
है.
saying?
Cannot be equal.
Can you achieve load balancing for single VLAN? By creating multiple group, you can create multiple group for load balancing for multiple VLANs. For single VLAN, load balancing is not possible in HSRP or ERRP. Possible ही नहीं है, कर ही नहीं सकते हो. Then DLBP is only the solution. If I have two VLAN 10 and 20, then very easily I can achieve load balancing, right? I want switch 1 should handle VLAN 10 traffic and switch 2 should handle VLAN 20 traffic. That is possible.
Correct.
But वो कोई load balancing हुआ क्या?
लोड शेयरिंग हो गया सर, बैलेंसिंग नहीं हुआ.
लोड शेयरिंग हो गया. हम कह सकते हैं कि भाई ऑब्वियस है, दो ग्रुप है तो दो एक्टिव राउटर है. So GLBP is the only protocol which provide
लोड बैलेंसिंग.
load balance. Otherwise, don't want load balancing, only redundancy is your priority, then you can go with HSRP or
वेयर आरपी.
which topic is pending in switching? Code security हुआ? Code security?
Right, sir.
नहीं सर.
Span?
नहीं सर.
तो
Then to
DIA भी कर रहा हूँ. डायनेमिक कारपेट इंस्पेक्शन.
DIA,
ये है.
DSCP snooping,
Yes.
ARP inspection, code security, span, DSCP snooping, ARP inspection. अब यही टॉपिक.
सर टाइप्स ऑफ आरपी कवर कर लेंगे.
तो कंबाइन कर दीजिए. Proxy ARP, Resist ARP is complete normal ARP.
ARP तो
सर पीवीआर इसमें ही आएगा. हाँ प्राइवेट रिले.
these are the topics, pending topics of.
Sir, actually, I have one confusion. Means same like HSRP and VRP. This still, if we have means three routers
Okay,
and downline of one switch,
okay,
and yes, so it is connecting to one switch, and that virtual gateway is 192.168.10.100 support.
okay,
And if they have in group 10, so such and such means 0C, 0AC, group 10, that means it will go, right? So that MAC address it will assign to the this particular virtual IP.
correct.
So so suppose from the R1 link, if it is failing, is so how switch is getting recognized? I have to be transferred towards the R2 that.
It will not receive HSRP hello message na or VRRP. If this link is working fine, that means it is receiving hello message after every 3 seconds. After 3
Okay.
seconds, if this link will goes down after 3 seconds, it will get to know that here now I am not receiving hello message. right? So
Okay.
hold on time is 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, this port will become active.
Okay. Somewhere I heard, read or heard about, gracious arc also help in this case to,
No, no.
means, to,
Gracious ARP is used to check duplicate IP. That is
no,
different thing.
but how the merchant MAC is again allocating to the R2, or it will be allocated to the
No,
all the
everyone
three
have already.
interfaces.
See, once you will enable the HSRP protocol, all the router have virtual MAC address. But issue is there,
Okay.
if their state is standby, then it will not share their MAC address. Only active router will share their MAC address. MAC address is
Okay.
already
So
there.
same in VRRP also.
Yes, same in
That,
VRP.
Okay.
that MAC
Once in
address is of physical interface, right? Physical interface IP.
नहीं,
no
physical
no
interface का
virtual
थोड़ी ना
IP.
है MAC.
Virtual
So
IP का होगा आप you are saying.
Virtual MAC.
okay. So what I understood, these three links are joining a one group. It's as we say group 10, and in that particularly we are getting receiving this virtual MAC also for those.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That one. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Anything? Hello, Bharat.
या नमस्ते जी.
क्या इशू आ रहा है आपको?
Yeah, I think see still I'm facing the same issue. I'm just trying to take help of our colleague.
जी में
हाँ EVNG हो नहीं पा रहा था
कोई नहीं कर
last
पा
week.
रहा है क्या? कितने लोग हैं क्लास में?
Yeah, I think Mr. Rahul is helping अभी.
VMware
हम also
workstation
helping
does
him.
not support virtualized performance counter on this
Sir,
host.
actually he is not in our India, sir. तो बाहर का कुछ restriction भी हो सकता है, sir. Not sure.
वो सॉर्ट इट हो गया. अभी सेटिंग्स में प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है.
है ये ना सर?
हाँ कर रहा हूँ. आई थिंक कुछ परफॉर्मेंस के अंदर जाना अनचेक करना चेक करना कुछ करना है. एक मिनट में शेयर करता हूँ.
कर रहे हैं तो ठीक है, फिर कर go to performance. After that,
कहाँ है? Where
uncheck
it will be in
the
the
checked
performance?
option.
कहाँ रहेगा परफॉर्मेंस?
भेजें.
Somebody is helping them.
Share your
Inshallah.
screen if
Yeah, just a minute. I'm sharing.
you have issue with VMware or EVNG. Your
EVNG.
VMware is not working. The screenshot you have shared in the group is related to VMware.